Hello there, and welcome back to the channel, where it's actually been quite a while since we've talked about this, so I think it's time again. Star Wars, nothing but Star Wars. I have a couple of things to say. This video is going to be a little bit, I don't know if it's going to be messier than usual, but it's definitely not going to be the same as it always is. Instead of focusing on like one particular thing that's making Star Wars terrible, I'm just going to focus on a couple of different arguments I've heard from other people that are really, really stupid. So the first one is that the Star Wars fan base is toxic and that's what's killing Star Wars. Is the Star Wars fan base toxic? Yes, undoubtedly. But the same can literally be said about any other fan base on the planet. Marvel. Oh, Marvel's so much better than DC, and look how much money our movies made. Justice League made almost no money. DC. Oh man, Batman can beat anybody, and you know what, Marvel fans, you're too stupid. Don't even go watch Aquaman, because you're not going to understand it. Find any Lord of the Rings fan on the planet and ask them how they felt about the Hobbit trilogy. I'm not even kidding. I implore you, ask anyone you know that's a legitimate fan of the Lord of the Rings how they felt after they watched The Hobbit. You're pretty much going to get the same answer every single time. And it has a lot to do with the fact that prequels are a terrible way to tell a story. Going back in time is almost never the answer. With the exception, of course, of a flashback. A flashback can actually be really efficient at storytelling because it can deal with exactly what we're dealing with right now, but in the past, it could be focused up, it could be quick, it could be easy. But when you're telling a prequel story, you have to tell this entire narrative in the past and tie its events to these events coherently. And that's nearly impossible. Star Wars failed to do it. Lord of the Rings failed to do it. X-Men failed to do it. Bumblebee is going to fail to do it. Prequels aren't how you tell a story. Battlestar Galactica, Star Trek, I'm pretty sure all those fan bases are equally toxic. And the thing that divided the fan base in the first place is that you had the original trilogy, which was just a pure story, you know, a father-son story that takes place across space and time. Sure, whatever. And then you have the prequel trilogy, which is just chopped, messy garbage because it's trying to live up to all these things that it set up in the original trilogy. It had to talk about the Clone Wars. It had to show the rise and fall of Anakin Skywalker. It had to do all these things that it didn't want to. That's why Episode 3 is the only good prequel, because it's focused up and it tells a part of the story George Lucas wanted to tell. Another thing that I'm really tired of hearing is that, oh, you didn't like Star Wars Episode 8 because your fan fiction was wrong, or because you hate women, or something like that. I know I've talked about that in the past, but here's the thing. Characters like Ellen Ripley, Xena, Wonder Woman when she was in Batman vs. Superman, Sarah Connor, sorry, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the Charmed Girls. They're great characters, mostly, because of the fact that they're not thrown in here, right? They're not just here because you need a woman. They just so happen to be women, and they're at the focal point of the story. That's what makes it work. With Rey, that's not what you have. You had this idea of you wanted a third trilogy of Star Wars movies, but you didn't want a white male in the lead this time. You didn't want Ewan McGregor, Hayden Christensen, Mark Hamill. You didn't want any of that. You wanted a woman. Okay, write a good story then. You have to write a good story. Speaking of story, I don't hate it because my fan fiction was wrong. This is a fan fiction. This, and this are all fan fictions. Alright? They're just unfortunately canon. Nothing sets Gareth Edwards, J.J. Abrams, Ron Howard, or Rian Johnson apart from us other than the fact that they gave them the money to make their fan fictions come to life. I didn't need Rey to be Emperor Palpatine's great niece. I just wanted an explanation as to why she's so strong with the Force and why she's able to handle herself with the lightsaber so well. She uses a staff. She wasn't trained with the staff. She can use the staff to survive. And a staff and a laser sword are two very different things. Same with Finn. It's like, oh, he has melee training from the First Order. And they didn't train him to use a lightsaber because there's only 2 lightsabers in the entire galaxy. Which begs the question, why is every weapon in Star Wars lightsaber proof now? I don't get it, whatever, doesn't matter. Another thing I've heard is that, like, oh, Kylo Ren is a manifestation of whiny Star Wars fanboys. We wouldn't be whining if these movies were good. That's not an excuse. Oh, we're self-aware. And You still have to tell a good story. They can't seem to do that. It's just, it's a rehashing of what we've seen before, but coated in a paint job of awful. It's terrible. It's poopy doody. I don't like looking at it. Then there's, oh, you don't like it because it's different. You don't want change in Star Wars. Different is fine. Star Wars The Old Republic, Star Wars The Force Unleashed, Legends, Shadows of the Empire, it's all different stuff, but it's good storytelling. That's why we like it. That's why we want so bad for Revan, for Nihilus, for Malgus, for all of them to be canon, because they're products of good storytelling. Alright? I don't have a problem with different. Kylo Ren is a toy design and nothing more. That's it. Same with Captain Phasma, she's on that poster. I gotta take these down. But the thing is, the story has to come before your idea, right? If your entire movie is built upon moments, like The Last Jedi is, then you're gonna have a hard time stringing a story together. The moments should be product of the story. The story should not be a haphazard attempt to connect these moments together so that you have a 2.5 hour snooze fest. Like, oh man, the Star Wars fan base is so whiny and so babyish that they harassed Kelly Marie Tran to the point where she deleted her Instagram. First of all, I don't care that she deleted her Instagram. I didn't follow her. I had no interest in what she had to say. Second, I've never met a person in my life that actually attacks Star Wars actors for what they do on screen. It's either made up or it's such a small number that it doesn't even reflect a large portion of the Star Wars fan base. Third, anything negative I've ever said about Star Wars has come from the direction and from the storytelling. I don't care about the actors. Daisy Ridley, fine actor. Adam Driver, John Boyega, Oscar Isaac, great actors. I just hate the way their characters have been written. I will forever feel bad that Mark Hamill had to milk a 4-breasted seal creature and that I had to watch it. Like, why did they... That's not even what I'm talking about today. The core of all of Star Wars problems come from as I said before, they come from Kathleen Kennedy. When she bought Star Wars off of George Lucas, she made a promise that she was going to maintain the integrity of the world that he'd created, and she wasn't going to tamper with it. It was going to be the same Star Wars world that we recognized. That was a fat lie. That was the boldest faced lie I've ever seen told by a business person. What they really should have done with the Star Wars trilogy, have all the SJW commentary you want. Leave Han, Luke, and Leia out of it. Set it so far in the future that Han, Luke, and Leia are already dead. Set it so far in the future, Chewie's dead. I don't care. The thing is, now the legacy of these characters has been besmirched. And that's a problem for me. They undid character development for the sake of redoing it in a different way. They turned Han Solo into a senile old man that couldn't remember who he owed money to. Luke Skywalker went from the guy that was like, I have to protect my friends, they're all I have, to go away! I don't want to be a Jedi anymore because I tried to kill my nephew in his sleep and now he's evil. What type of motivation is that? What I thought about Kylo Ren is that he turned evil because the call to the dark was just too strong and he couldn't resist it. Simple stuff, man. Easy story to tell. You don't have to get all philosophical. They didn't even try to. They were just, oh, Luke tried to kill him. Oh, what's that? That's dumb? Well, too bad, because you're just a Star Wars fan. What do you know? Star Wars fans are what keep Star Wars alive. All right? Fans of anything, the consumers, the customers, they are what keep brands alive. If people stopped wearing Nike, Nike would die. If people stopped drinking Coors, Coors would die. Maybe that one wouldn't be so bad. But the thing that I'm trying to get across here, Disney and Lucasfilm have no respect, no regard for the feelings of the fans. You have to keep the fans happy. Mark Hamill said it himself to Rian Johnson, and Rian Johnson said, no, I don't have to do that because this is my movie. We are affecting their bottom line in the best way possible. We're making them lose money because now we're showing them that they can't just do whatever they want with the Star Wars brand and get away with it. Us not going to see Solo is the best thing we could have done, but we have to stick it through to episode 9. We can't stop now. But that's pretty much all I wanted to say this time. I have a lot more to say, but I'll save it for like next week or something like that. Thanks for watching, liking, commenting, and subscribing if you're new, sharing it around with all your friends so that we can all argue about Star Wars together. I love the franchise. I'm sure you love the franchise if you're here watching this video. So just keep doing what you're doing, you know? Just don't go see these movies, and maybe we'll eventually get the Star Wars we know and love back. But that's pretty much all I want to say, so I'll see you later.
Drop it hard.